Ukraine's military said its troops had lost ground in the strategic eastern city. It and neighboring Lysychansk are the only major cities in the Luhansk region yet to fall to Russia. Kyiv, Ukraine. Russian forces have pushed Ukrainian troops from the center of Sievierodonetsk, the Ukrainian military said on Monday, as Ukraine's grip on the strategic eastern city appeared to weaken further. The Ukrainian military said that fighting was ongoing in the riverside city, where for weeks Ukrainian and Russian forces have engaged in artillery duels and bloody street battles over destroyed neighborhoods. President Volodymyr Zelensky has called the battle decisive for the fate of his country's eastern Donbas region. Allies have warned that Sievierodonetsk could fall to Russia within weeks or days. The situation in the city was extremely difficult on Sunday because the Russian army destroyed a second bridge into the city. Regional Governor Serhiy Haidai said, that leaves only one other span over the Sievierodonetsk River, and it too has been under heavy bombardment. Most likely, today or tomorrow, they will throw all reserves to capture the city, Mr. Haidai said, referring to Russian forces. In an update on Monday, Mr. Haidai said that Russian forces were heavily shelling an industrial zone that includes a chemical plant where about 500 civilians, including 40 children, were sheltering. Efforts were underway to evacuate the civilians, he added. In an evening speech on Sunday, Mr. Zelensky said Sievierodonetsk was the site of very fierce fighting literally for every meter. Russia has continued to make slow but steady advances in the Donbas, which comprises the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, where Sievierodonetsk is. Moscow's troops have used their superior artillery to pummel civilian territory before moving forces in, as they did when they advanced last month into Sievierodonetsk. It and the neighboring city of Lysychansk are the only cities in the Luhansk region yet to fall to the Russian military. The fighting along this eastern front has been some of the fiercest in the war to date. Sievierodonetsk holds symbolic meaning for Ukraine. After the city of Luhansk and much of the province of the same name were captured by Moscow-backed rebels in 2014, Sievierodonetsk became the de facto provincial capital. Still, Ukrainian officials have wrestled with whether to withdraw from what President Zelensky has called a dead city, where most of the pre-war population of 100,000 people has fled and infrastructure has been destroyed. For now, however, Ukrainian forces say they will continue to fight, even at the risk of being encircled. The battle has highlighted Ukraine's urgent need for more firepower, with Soviet-era ammunition running out, and led to urgent calls from Ukrainian leaders for more, and faster, deliveries of military supplies from Western allies. Over time, we receive far less than we lose, said Taras Schmidt, the director of the Comeback Alive Foundation, a volunteer non-governmental organization that supports the Ukrainian military. We are depleting faster than they do. The battle for Sievierodonetsk, which could fall to the Russians within days, is about far more than one city. Its capture would give Russia a key victory in its drive to seize the entire Donbas region of eastern Ukraine. Donbas, which comprises the territories of Luhansk and Donetsk, is a prize for President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia. After failing to swiftly topple Ukraine's government in Kyiv, Mr. Putin refocused his military campaign on the Donbas, which makes up about 9% of Ukraine's land, but holds significance for its industry, location and potential as a bargaining chip for Moscow. The Donbas borders Russia and runs from outside Mariupol in the south to the northern border near Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city. Home to coal mines and steel. An estimated 6.2 million people lived in the region before Russia's invasion, according to the most recent census data. Kremlin-backed separatists have held territory in the Donbas since 2014, after Russia annexed Crimea, a move that Ukraine and its Western allies have termed illegal. The proxy forces seized more than a third of the Donbas at the time and proclaimed the formation of two breakaway republics. They have been waging a civil war against Ukraine's government ever since. More than 14,000 people have died in the fighting since it began, but the battle was effectively at a stalemate, albeit one with sporadic and deadly shelling along the roughly 250-mile front line known as the Line of Contact until Russia invaded Ukraine on February 24. now Russian forces and their separatist allies control an estimated 80 to 90% of the Donbas, according to Ukrainian officials. Capturing Sievierodonetsk and the neighboring city of Lysychansk would give Russia full control of Luhansk, and position its forces to advance farther west toward the city of Kramatorsk in neighboring Donetsk province, one of the last major cities still under Ukrainian control there. If Kramatorsk falls, Mr. Putin's forces would in effect control the whole Donbas region. That's critical from a supply standpoint as well as a symbolic one. Mr. Putin could claim a tangible military victory and use the territory as leverage in any future peace negotiations with Ukraine. Holding the Donbas would also expand Moscow's land bridge connecting Russian territory to Crimea, but a full capture of Donbas is far from assured. Pushing westward from Sievierodonetsk could strain Russian supply lines, which proved vulnerable in its early failures to seize Kyiv and other parts of northern Ukraine. And the Russian military's tactics of scorched earth bombardment mean that any territory gained will likely bear widespread destruction and need extensive rebuilding.